Hey, I'm Nick with Obsessed Garage. Welcome to OG Academy, a series of short videos where we dive into more of the technical aspects of some of the things we sell. Today, we're going to be going over fittings, a general understanding and overview of fittings that we sell and industry standards. So hopefully when you get into purchasing them for your pressure washer setup, for adapting things, you have a little bit more confidence and understanding. So what is a fitting? A fitting is a loose term used to describe a mechanical connector between two objects. Typically, they'll come threaded, but they can come in many different shapes and forms. So you can have a plug, a coupler, an adapter, a reducer, elbows, but we're going to go systematically one by one and sort of explain what they are and how they work. So thread gender. Anytime you see male or female in a title of a fitting on Obsessed Garage's website, this is always in reference to the thread gender. Basically, all that means is whether the threads are internal, like this female plug right here, or external, like this male plug right here. An important thing to note about female and male plugs is there needs to be an alternating pattern. So a male connects to a female, female connects to male. You can't do male to male, nor can you do female to female. Thread size. So just like thread types, there is a million different thread sizes out there. There's only a few that are really important or relevant when we're talking about pressure washing. Some ones to note are 3/8 inch, 1/4 inch, and 3/4 inch. 3/8 inches, which you'll find on your standard high pressure hose into the sprayer gun. 1/4 inch is what you'll find out of the sprayer gun and beyond, so things like wands and nozzle tips. And 3/4 inch is the standard size of a GHT fitting or a garden hose thread. Thread types. So just like thread size, there's a million different types of threads out there, but we're only going to bring up the ones that are really applicable to what we're doing. So starting with NPT, or National Pipe Tapered Thread. This is one of the most common threads you'll find here in the US. The only thing that's really important to know about NPT is that it is a tapered thread, or diminishing. So what that means is you're going to need to use Teflon tape to make a watertight seal. GHT, or garden hose thread, is a 3/4 inch thread, and this is what you'll find on all standard garden hoses and garden spigots here in the US. An important thing to note about GHT is that there is an internal O-ring. This is what creates the watertight seal, so no Teflon tape is needed for GHT connections. M22 fittings. So M22 fittings are one of the most common fittings when it comes to OE pressure washer accessories, so things like your hose, your pressure washer outlet, or your OE gun. The reason this is such a popular fitting is because there is an internal O-ring on the inside. This creates a watertight seal, only being hand tight. There's no need to break out the channel locks and mess anything up. It is important to note that M22 fittings come in two different sizes, a 14mm and a 15mm. They will both screw on to each other, but if you have the wrong size, they will leak. If you're curious what size your pressure washer needs, feel free to look on our website or contact us directly. BSP, or British Standard Pipe. This is just like NPT, but for Britain. So this is their standard unit of threads. The important thing to note is that these can come in a few different configurations. So you can have a BSPP, or parallel, and a BSPT, or tapered. Whereas NPT is always tapered, British Standard Pipe can come parallel. All that really means is that some will require Teflon, some won't. But applying Teflon will never hurt. Quick disconnect type. So technically speaking, both the thread and the quick disconnect type will have their own assigned gender. But this could get super confusing, as you could have a male threaded, male quick disconnect. So here at Obsessed Garage, we adapted our naming scheme to make it a little easier for you. Simply put, a male quick disconnect will always be called a plug. A female quick disconnect will always be called a coupler. The way that a quick disconnect actually works and seals the water is using the internal O-ring. We have one laid out right here. So if you're ever having any leaking problems, water spraying out the side or the bottom, it's most likely going to be your O-rings. These are consumable items, so understand that they will go bad eventually. They're a super easy fix, and we have all O-ring sizes available on our website. If build quality and usability is something that is super important to you, you might want to consider something like a Mosmatic coupler. These are super high-end stainless steel, and the motion and movement of them is very crisp. This is what we use on all of our Ultimate packages. It's what we personally recommend. So the way a quick disconnect works is using two fittings or pieces. You can't have a functioning quick disconnect with only one piece. Typically, you'll have a plug and a coupler. All you're going to do is pull back on the coupler, insert the plug, it'll lock in. The metal ball bearing detenses will lock it in. It'll seal on that O-ring, and you have a watertight connection. Thank you guys for watching. That about covers it for fittings today. Hopefully you took something away from this video. If you have any specific questions, feel free to let us know below or contact us directly at support@obsessedgarage.com.